Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with FX Market Insight for Monday, the 22nd of Feb. All right, some interesting takeaways from the close of trading last week. Now, I've left all my charts with the trend lines where they were last week, just to show you sort of the sort of uneven price action and just difficult trading conditions. You can see the dollar index cruising to the top side, breaks through these couple of little weak resistance levels, and then starts to churn to the downside. So what looks like is happening is the economic numbers are coming alive, right? So, but there's different things happening still around the geopolitical, the pandemic, and the and what's happening with the rollout of vaccines. So the let me just have a look here. The UK numbers, right? The UK retail sales figures are absolutely shockers, right? But there's a fair bit of euphoria still around sterling with the rollout, the aggressive rollout of vaccines or vaccinations, and the recovery after the Brexit issues all done. So sterling is like just going topside despite those economic numbers. Now, as far as the US dollar goes, we've got a situation where the risk on risk off sentiment, right? You've got this, the media is still sort of humming on about it. They're going for riskier assets and all this sort of stuff. Well, the equity markets didn't suggest that was a risk on risk off day, but we did see the US dollar fall. Now, the US numbers, they are bouncing. All the US numbers are coming in much stronger than expected. So the US dollar safe haven trade looks like it's just been flipped over again. And I know we've seen this like 100 times, where you get the US dollar safe haven for 2 days and it goes off, it's on and off. You just got to roll with the punches, Rob. We can't sort of change what's happening, but we can sort of see where the events are. Now, also dollar CAD retail sales figures, shockers, the numbers here, but big bounces in the revisions. That's offset the weakness there, or a fair bit of that weaker impact from those Canadian numbers. So now let's just have a look at the charts. Now, the dollar index, obviously, it's just in the middle of nowhere. This is a good time to be redoing your analysis and trying to work out where everything is, because you've got, it's a bit of a dog's breakfast if you were just looking at it just at the moment. Now, I mean, the dollar index, if anything, you're just changing your top side there. We had that sort of bit of a previous low there. Now, it is sitting down here. One of the things about trying to find like support and resistance levels, it's not about you finding some special line. You're just trying to find out where the key levels are that the market's going to be drawing. And you can see here, going back to a daily time frame, you can see where that line is. Now, I'm not really into drawing a trend line from, let me just show you, from this point here across to here. It's like just current market, okay? And if I just change that back to the hourlies, you're almost better off, just keeping an eye on the low. If you just want to keep an eye on what these lows are, because that weak support line is just really sort of judging that low there. It might even be worth just doing, this is the starting point for the next trend line, is even just here. So dollar index, anyway, it's back trading mid-range, and there's not much we can do about that. You're looking, you just got to let the price action and the trend, where the pressure points are in your analysis, technical analysis, they will build up over a short period of time and then dissipate as the trading activity sort of, works its way through them. So we just aren't getting a follow through with the data. Now, it'd be great to see what Biden's doing there with his stimulus package, get that out in the open. So then we have something to work with. Dollar yen has sort of just rolled over again. You can see that short-term resistance line there isn't really in play. Whoops. There's not much there on the top side. I have to go fishing for that on the daily charts. You just want to really tune up your dollar CAD. Now, dollar CAD is being pulled and pushed all over the place. Oil, well, has sort of went above $60 now. It's back under. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. To me, right at the moment, you've got oil sort of falling. It'd be interesting to see if it goes back this way. Now, unfortunately, oil's falling. We should push dollar CAD up. We've got this dollar weakness, which is pushing dollar down. So dollar CAD, once again, caught between a rock and a hard place. It's one of those things. You just want to see where momentum comes from at the start of the week. And these other pairs like Kiwi, Aussie, Sterling, all back sort of in there. You got new support trend lines, and they're broken back to the top side. So we're sort of almost waiting for, the sort of technical analysis to sort of catch up. So where they form a bit of a top, you can start to see exactly where price action is. And you can see here, we've got an old longer term trend line that comes in play there as well. So anyway, just sort of showing you just the process of going through and just adjusting your trend lines to, you know, where the price action has been, what we're left with as far as support and resistance goes on these pairs. As you can see here, just at the moment, the like Aussie, Kiwi, Sterling in particular, sort of in the middle of nowhere. They're just shooting to the top side on the back of that weak dollar. If anything, we've still got that fundamental weakness in the eurozone. But tell you what, if the dollar keeps coming off, euro will rally, and we've got a resistance line here to work with. That should coincide with a breakdown through 90.20 in the dollar index. But really, all I'm looking for on a Monday is to see what happened, see where what events came out over the weekend, get an idea of and prepare yourself. See where those US equity futures open up Monday. Give us an idea of dollar direction coming into the start of the week, and have a good look through your sort of various news components, so you can get a feel for what's happening. Now, there isn't too much feel. This pound story is about, you know, the rollout of vaccines and a positive outlook after Brexit. These ones here, it's just like risk on, risk off. They're basically now sort of almost writing the articles to fit in with what's happening. And that's sort of, you've got to be able to identify that, because that means you've got to wait, and we're waiting for the key data. So then you come back and you go through all these various components, get a feel for what's happening there, then come back once again to your main page and go through, see how the week is planned out as far as the economic data goes, because it is coming into play. Now, I know sterling, like recognizing last week, sterling retail sales figures massively weak, and it goes up, right? So when you're looking at this, that puts a big question mark over any sort of movements in sterling. We've got some early or some final inflation numbers out of the Eurozone, some wage price index stuff, some good inflation numbers out of Australia. They aren't really, the data isn't really impacting there at the moment. But the key one here is the Eurozone economic sentiment numbers, right? So coming into Thursday, it's going to be sort of coming to play. You got some GDP numbers, estimate numbers out of the US and durable goods. Once again, something to get the teeth into. So like every other week, Wednesday onwards, there's more activity and there's more data coming out. So you're going to have a little bit more tangible things to look at as far as potential moves. And that's all we can do at this stage. You got to roll with the punches. We're getting some of these technical setups, right? But then the market or the data just isn't fitting in with the overall move. So we're not getting this clear trend just yet, but hang in there, because it's, you know, we're getting better trading sort of moves, but we're just not getting the consistency with the trend is what I'm trying to say. So that's where we are. Yeah, just get your charts all tuned up, and all you can do is try and wait, plan for the opportunity. We're going to try and gauge where this next bit of momentum is going to come from. And so the smartest thing you can do right now on a Monday or Sunday, depending on where you are, is to get your charts tuned up. So you at the very least know where those key levels are. All right. All right, guys. Well, that's a starting point for me. A bit of a wrap from last Friday, and see what's coming up. There's we've got some data, but you know what? I'm not getting overly excited. You can get in a rut here and start chasing the market when there's not a lot on offer. You want to try and avoid that. All right. And I can just say, just at the moment, if you are looking at the major pairs, there's no synergy there at the moment with any of the correlations. So relax and take your time, let the markets open up and give us some sort of idea of direction. All right, guys, have a good week. Cheerio.